Do you want to be a full-time career coach? Well, there's probably a million different routes to getting there, but out of those million ways, there's really two main categories. And that's what this video is all about. I'm going to talk about the two different ways where you can make being a career coach full-time. So let's get started. If we have not yet met, my name is Daniel Botero and I'm the founder of Opni. I've been in the career coaching industry for over a decade, and I help career coaches like yourself build profitable, scalable, and impactful 10 to 80K plus career coaching businesses. And in this video, I want to dive into the different models that you could do to build a coaching business where you could do this full time, right? And so let's talk about model number one. And again, there's no such thing as a wrong answer. It really just depends on your goals and what you're trying to build. So in one model is what I call the platform model. This is where you provide your service as a contractor. And if you're in the United States, like a 1099 contractor for someone else. This could be for a marketplace of coaches like BetterUp or Strawberry.me. This could also look like you working as a career coach underneath another career coach that has a bigger brand, a presence, and a marketing funnel that generates clients. And maybe you help with the clarity calls, the career coaching calls, salary negotiation calls, mock interview calls, write resumes for them, and so on. In this model, there's a lot of pros to it. So let's talk about the pros of this model first. One of the biggest pros for this model is that there's very little risk of you doing this, right? If you have the right certifications, you can go onto these platforms and they will book you clients, right? If you go to strawberry.me and you apply to be a coach, you're going to get accepted if you have the right certifications and background, and they will go ahead and book you clients, and you don't have to do anything but go into those calls and coach, right? So advantages here is low risk. You do not need a personal brand. You do not need to have a website. You do not need to have a marketing engine or post on LinkedIn on a daily basis. You do not need to build a team. This is a very simplified model of running your career coaching business. You can literally spend the majority of your time, if not 80-90% of your time, just working with clients. So this could be a really good way to get started. This could be a really good way for you to just get more coaching hours underneath your belt. Now, you're probably saying, well, Daniel, this sounds great. Like all I get to do is just open my computer. There are calls scheduled on my calendar. I open up Zoom and I just take calls. Yeah, that's great. Now, the disadvantages of this is that you're building a business underneath someone else, right? You're not really building your personal brand, and people are coming to the marketplace and they're not going for you. And you essentially have just been a commodity, right? Another disadvantage here is that your earning potential is very capped because you're trading time for money. And because the platforms are the ones that are getting the clients, they're the ones that have the relationship with the clients, they're the ones whose reputations are in jeopardy, right? They take a big cut of this. So think about like Strawberry.me, where a job seeker or somebody in their career can go starting at $70 in a week, work with a career coach like yourself, and they will then get coaching. They manage the relationship, they manage getting the client. You don't get $70 an hour. You would get a portion of that. I've heard people make anywhere between $40 to $60 an hour, depending on your level of experience or your certification. But let's say that you have really high certifications and you are getting paid max. Let's say you get paid $75 an hour. Even if you were to only do coaching, even if you were to work around 40 hours a week and just go from back to back to back calls, you're still going to be capped at making around $150,000 a year from this coaching business. So you technically, even though it is your business, it is an LLC, and you are being a subcontractor under a bigger company, a marketplace like BetterUp or Strawberry.me, because the time is your bottleneck, your earning potential is capped. So if you're looking to build a low risk lifestyle business where coaching is it, and it's essentially you're just replacing your 9-to-5 corporate job for another type of job where you maybe do something you love more, this works well. This is perfectly fine model to do it. Now, what if there's a different model? And that's the model that I want to dive into, because that's the model that I started with and that's the model that I teach. So let's talk about what that other model looks like. And the second model, or the second option here, is what I called of you building your high ticket transformational offer where you are actually building the business. So let's first start with some of the pros of this model. Pros in this model, one, you can make a lot more money. Instead of charging hourly, you can charge for the transformation. And I suggest you doing a high ticket transformation anywhere between 3 to 7% of salary. So let's say, for easy math purposes, that you're charging $5,000 to work for somebody from beginning to end to get a job. So because you're charging for a transformation and not time for money, this actually becomes more scalable, more profitable, because you're not going through a middleman like a marketplace. You get to keep all of those $5,000 yourself, or maybe you'll have some expenses in your business, but you keep the majority of that high ticket platform. A second advantage here is that you're actually building a business and a brand that has equity. You're building something that's worth equity that you could eventually maybe sell if you wanted to. Now, it's hard to sell coaching business. I'll be very upfront, but it is something that you're going to build momentum on and build reoccurring business and create a flywheel effect, right? If you're able to build your personal brand, as an example, one of the ways in this scenario is you're going to build a personal brand to attract clients. We suggest you starting with LinkedIn. If you're building your audience on LinkedIn, that's worth something, right? Like if you can get to 100,000 followers, even if you don't want to do career coaching anymore, those followings can be brand deals later on. You can do other things with that brand equity that you are building. And you also can create a moat and build a network. Now, this is also a way for you to scale making 150 or more. I know coaches that do 80, 100, $200,000 a month in career coaching services. Now they have a team, there's some expenses, but even at that point, they can be taking home $50,000, $60,000 a month in profits, making a lot more than what they made in corporate while still generating a massive amount of impact with the clients that they work. Now, if you're motivated by money, now it doesn't mean that you own, you're a greedy capitalist. Like you can still want to help a lot of people. And in fact, I actually think that this model helps clients more. In this model, you will have to build a business, which means that you would have to build a marketing engine, a lead gen systems and processes, sales systems and processes, client success systems and processes, and operation systems and processes, which means that actually the majority of the time that you will be spent, especially in the beginning of you building this business, I would say the first couple of years, will actually be in non-coaching activities. You will actually spend more time in marketing and sales than you would be in client success. And so what I want you to think about this is understand, like, what is your goals? Like, where do you want to be 5 years from now? And what needs to happen for you to do that? So in one way, if you want to build let's say a lifestyle business, maybe you're towards the end of your career, you have all this experience, you just want to work 10, 15 hours a week. You're not looking to just replace your corporate income, but you're maybe towards the closer to retirement. And this is a really good way from working 40 hours a week, going to 20 hours a week, do this for 5, 6 years, and then eventually retire. You have savings, you have a good retirement plan, and you just want to give back and coach. I actually think that the marketplace model would be a better fit for you, right? But let's say you still have a lot of gas in the tank. You have a lot of energy. You probably have 10, 15 years to go in your career, or even if you're in your 60s and you want to work into your 70, 75, and you want to build more of a business, you want to build a team, you like creating the systems and processes, you like that type of challenge, you want to make more than $100,000 a year, then I actually think the second model of you actually building a career coaching business, building a brand, building brand equity, building this personal brand, building a scalable career coaching business, like a program that you can get through people in and you know what input is required to get what output. I actually think the second model is where you should go to. Again, that's a question that you need to ask yourself. What model works best for you? Now, if you don't know, if you think both models could work for you, that if you're not really sure, I want to offer you an opportunity to speak with our team to see, so we can ask you the right questions to understand a little bit of your goals and see which model it is. Now, I'll be transparent with you guys. If you wanted to go to the first model, that's not something we help with. In fact, you don't need anybody's help to do that. You just go on a BetterUp or strawberry.me, submit your application. You're going to need to get some certification, like an ICF certification, and you're good to go. Get that certification, you're off to the races. But if getting the second model in place and you want to go fast and you want to build $10,000 to $80,000 a month career coaching businesses, if that side of building the business, building the programs is exciting to you, then that's where we come in. Humbly speaking, I believe we are the best at helping career coaches build profitable, scalable, and impactful businesses. And if you want to speak to a team, there'll be a link below. Now, if you found value in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.